Alrighty. Um, Welcome back, APDL. Uh, we're here for our playoff game, round one against the Minnesota Mamoswines, or Josh. Uh, um, I should be going to bed, but I cannot after this game. Uh, he has already thrown up his video, watched it, and I think I gotta go through things as well because our game was exciting. Um, I'll go through my sets right away like usual. Brought Wishy-Washy this week. Earthquake and Liquidation hit a bunch of things for a lot of damage, and Wishy-Washy is just super tanky. So, we got the subset on him, Protect, and leftovers. And then a little bit in attack, and HP and defense. So he's a little bit of a defensive boy this week. And then we have the Lorantis Matoi going full attack, Adamant. A lot of HP because it's actually kind of bulky. Like, I think base HP is 70, and then the defensive stats are both 80, so it can take a hit, even like super effective for most things. And then 8 points in speed in case he specifically spec'd like Rhydon or something really slow to outspeed him perfectly. We have 8 just to offset that. I thought it might be funny. Might save us in a clutch situation, perhaps. Then Gallade. Um, Josh covers it in his video, and his read on this was that Gallade was pretty bad this week, which initially was true in testing. But I kind of found a way to make him work this week. He is Assault Vested with Rock Slide, Knockoff, Shadow Sneak, and Drain Punch. This, and then he's max points in Special Defense, so he is my special wall for the week. He walls off Appleton, Special Rapidash, kind of, maybe, we'll see. Walls off Drift Blim, I forget what else he has. Appleton and Charizard were the main things that I was like, he's probably expecting to get a kill, and with the Assault Vest, we should be able to kill it right after. And then Drain Punch is there for survivability. Rock Slide kills Charizard no matter what. Does good damage to Drift Blim, so does Knockoff. And Shadow Sneak can also help us kill Drift Blim, because that thing could be kind of fast, so having the priority helps. Then we got Meowstic over here running a Rocky Helmet. I anticipate him to bring Psychic Fangs and Bolton, so that's there for that. And Psychic Fangs is doing like no damage to Meowstic with Reflect. So if we can just sit in front of that thing and, let it attack us a couple times, the Rocky Helmet's gonna chip it down and then eventually maybe Shadow Ball it and kill that thing there. There's also an Endure. So I'd same idea as Protect, but they take the Rocky Helmet damage. So I was pretty proud of the Meowstic set this week. Pretty good against all his physical mons. Then we had Panzer, the Skunk Tank, also running a Rocky Helmet because Swords Dance Rapidash is scary, and he has a couple of other physical threats that are pretty spook. So Rocky Helmet and Aftermath, that's doing like 36% some damage. If he kills us with a physical move. Then we got a little bit of HP in there and some attack. And I think it was spec'd so it could perfectly 2-hit or 1-hit KO a Rapidash with Poison Jab. I'm not completely sure though. And then the rest of the points went into defense just so we could survive as much and make things take as much Rocky Helmet damage as possible. Then we had the Raichu. Filling in this last slot this week was tough because I didn't have anything that super was a super great answer to a couple of his mons. Rapidash was my main worry this week. And I at one point had a Dusclops on the team, I think, and I was thinking of trapping it, but then I realized he could just heal. So I ended up just going with Raichu. It's a better answer to things like Drifblim and Charizard, and it also just kind of destroys Rhydon and Wishcash if he leaves them in there and thinks we don't have Grass Knot, which we're going to. It's a cool move. Even a max special defense Rhydon, it's killing for 110% at least. and then Nasty Plot in case we get the setup and just blow things up. He's also faster than everything on his team, unless something is scarfed or something else like that. His fastest mon is Rapidash, pretty sure, and it's spec perfectly to outspeed that. So we have good stuff on, Raichu there. Got a plan for everything, even if they're not great plans. Then we get into the game here, and we see he has Boltund, Rhydon, Rapidash, Drifblim, Charizard, and Appleton. So I'm guessing, or at least in the beginning of the game, I'm thinking my safest lead is just throw Meowstic out there and get up screens. Worst case scenario, he leads with Boltund and does Psychic Fangs right away, negates it, but then he's taking Rocky Helmet damage. And I like, as far as like middle ground safe opener, like Meowstic's the best choice here, at least in my mind when I was playing. So he leads in with Rapidash, and I was kind of more prepared for a Swords Dance set on this, so that's why we're running the Rocky Helmet, and it is also the reason we set up a Reflect right away. And he goes into a Substitute, which is a little scary, but we can get it down right away with Shadow Ball. He goes for another Calm Mind, and I'm thinking, okay, at some point Shadow Ball isn't going to break sub, and it's not going to do enough damage to kill him if he has a Morning Sun or some sort of healing move. So we are just going to get out here after another Shadow Ball anyway. And in hindsight, I really wish I would have set up a light screen before I got out, because we would have been able to do so. At the most damage he could have done would be like 50-ish%, I think. But we instead just opt to switch out right away, and try to Poison Jab it with Skuntank. Unfortunately, he ends up Mystic Firing us and gets the special attack drop, which doesn't matter for Skuntank, but it did 49% damage. We know it outspeeds, and if we Saiyan, we're just going to lose Skuntank for, free basically. Had we set up the light screen, we would have been free to, take a Mystic Fire and then Poison Jab it, and that should kill it at that range. But we have to switch out. And knowing he's special defense or special attack now, the Calm Mindset, for some reason I thought it was a good idea to switch into Gallade. But I will play it, and the crit doesn't matter, I'm pretty sure. The only way the crit mattered is if we had light screen up, which we didn't, which is why I really regret it, because we instantly lose our Gallade. And our Gallade was it was our queen on the board. It was a perfect answer to his whole bottom row Pokemon here, Drifblim, Charizard, and Appleton. Maybe Appleton not so much, but he at least bodies the attacks pretty well and can kind of fight it out with Drain Punch. So, having Gallade gone puts me in a super tough position. It's kind of the underrated piece of this match, and I hated losing him early. I did not know what to do. But we end up going into Wishy-Washy, and we can just kill him with Liquidation here. I didn't really think he would switch into anything. His best move maybe would have been to switch into Appleton. It kind of walls Wishy-Washy, but he stays in and just tries to get damage on Wishy-Wash, which is a fair play. And we're able to take him out with Liquidation. So now we're sitting at 5-5, but he has Wishy-Washy at half health, so he's halfway to schooling and being a useless Pokemon. He also has 50% damage on our Skuntank, which, is kind of meant to wall some things off and poison some things, so I don't really like having him at 50% right away. So we're in a tough spot, and he switches into Appleton, which Wishy-Washy can't do anything against. So we're just going to protect for leftovers and get out. And I believe we go into Meowstic here. We set up a light screen, I believe, because this guy has special attack. He just thrown Apple Acids, fair enough. And we get into Skuntank. Skuntank is really the only thing that can do damage to this thing on my team. Lurantis can, but he can also hit him for a lot of damage with a Draco Meteor or, pretty much just Draco Meteor. does a lot of damage to Larentis, even with light screen up, and with my Gallade missing, I can't really afford to take any damage on Larentis because I need him to kill Rhydon at this point. Wishy-Washy can too, but I need Larentis to deal with things, so I don't want any damage on him. So I just come back into Panzer, and my idea is to try to poison this guy. Unfortunately, he switches out into Rhydon. Poison doesn't really do anything against him. Here, I'm in a tough position without Gallade and without anything really good to switch into this guy. I'm thinking the best play is just to sack off Skunk Tank, and we're going to have to let the rest of the team try to clutch up. So if we switch in Raichu, he just dies. If we switch in Meowstic, he dies. Larentis takes damage, and like I said, we don't want damage on Larentis. Wishy-Washy can switch in and survive, but he probably goes to schooling, or at worst gets really close, and I don't want to lose any health on him, so I just decided to sack Skunk Tank here. We do a little bit damage with Crunch, Toxic hits for a little bit, and then we bring in Raichu. We're hoping he doesn't read a Grass Knot, but he does. So we do a whopping 1% damage to Granny Appleton. And we just Volt Switch out. Life Orb is killing us, and we get out into Meowstic, and he Body Presses. A little confused by the Body Press Spring, but it is a pretty safe play in case I throw Larentis in. And then after that, he can just kill stuff. But we do get a light screen up, which is good for us, and we get a little bit of extra chip damage in because that first Apple Acid didn't kill us. So, he's sitting with 5 Mons, we're down our special wall, we're down our Poisoner, which was kind of meant to deal with Appleton, and this thing is sitting at 70% health now. We don't have a super good way to kill it. And we're down our utility, our free half damage on certain moves. And there's like no great way to kill this thing without taking some hits for ourselves. So the best play here is just to throw in Larentis, and we're gonna hit a knockoff right away. He switches into Drifblim. Either, I think he was probably predicting like a superpower. He just wanted to eat it up for free. But we go knockoff because knockoff in this situation with max attack is doing about the same amount of damage as superpower to Appleton. So I just wanted to click knockoff to be safe just in case he did switch. And we read it, we get a good amount of damage, and then I kind of read a Will-O-Wisp, and I throw Raichu out because he doesn't care about being burned. And then he comes in with Appleton and just eats a Thunderbolt. This thing does not. Raichu can't do anything against this guy, which sucks. But at this point in the game, I'm in a most dire situation, and I have... I was just going over my win conditions here. I think some of these turns took a long time because I was just figuring out what I could do without Gallade and Skunk Tank on my team. And it came down to me either hitting a lucky Paralyze on this guy with Thunderbolt, which is 10%, so not likely, but I thought it was the best chance I had. So I just try to hit it, and he's going to kill me with Giga Drain. I don't think the crit there mattered. Raichu has no health, so, it is what it is. We get a free switch into Larentis, and we hit knockoff again, getting rid of the Drifblim. So that's good for us. He brings out Charizard, and no matter what he does, Larentis can't stay in there. It's just a bad idea to stay in there with Larentis. So he chooses to set up with Charizard. Physical Charizard is always interesting. I think I ran a set in Season 2. Not as viable as Special, but, if the situation calls for it, it can be very good. And I think Josh made use of that fact. So he throws a Dragon Dance up. And Wishy-Washy's just too bulky. The +1 Thunder Punch is not enough to kill us. It does get us down to schooling, but Leftovers saves us. So we just hit a Liquidation on him, and being max attack, that is just gonna... Or not max attack, but 104 attack, it's gonna delete Charizard. So then he comes in with Boltund. We hit a protect, and at this point, I'm thinking, okay, the game's pretty much over. He either, Thunder Fangs or Volt Switches, and then he kills Lurantis with like a Fire Fang or something, which shouldn't kill Lurantis outright, but the fact that we have Life Orb, it probably does like 50 to 60, maybe 70-ish% Fire Fang. So that brings us down to like 10 or 9%, and then Life Orb, we die on either killing Rhydon or Appleton. And we can't even kill Appleton in one move, so, I'm thinking GG's at this point, but he ends up going for Thunderfang and getting a 5% miss, which you probably saw that a little early while I talked about it, but that's fine. And had that not missed, had that hit on the the 95% chance that it should, he almost 100% wins the game, because our win condition from there is like getting some stupid crit with Lurantis, like a stat boost, and then somehow killing Appleton, or it just would have been, stupid if we went after that. But we're able to get the Earthquake off on Appleton. We protect, thinking maybe we can, get some health back and live something from Appleton. But no, we just get hit with Giga Drain. He dies. We come in with Lurantis. We superpower. +1 stats. He's going to Giga Drain there. And then we're going to hit him with superpower. So then we get up, we're 2 times attack, 2 times defense, and we outspeed Rhydon, and we just Giga Drain and win the 1-0 by like the hair on our teeth. Like, super GG's to Josh. He played super well, especially in the beginning. I wanted to concede after losing Gallade, and it being, even more so after he got to 5-2 or whatever the standing was in the middle of the game. But unfortunately, for him, I guess the Thunderfang missed on 5%, which is stupid hacks. Yeah. One hand, it feels great to be going to play, like, continuing in playoffs, but on the other hand, you kind of hate to win on the 5% hacks, so I don't know. It's a bittersweet victory. But it was over one of our favorite rivals, and it was a super fun game. It was super fun to have a turnaround. So, it is what it is. Yeah. Next we play DJ, I believe. And then after that, we're either playing the Kalamazoo Raichu or the Depressed Dunsparces if we move on from there. So, yeah. Go watch Josh's video if you haven't already. He threw up a video before this, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, he did. I don't have anything else to say, I guess. Just, we won by the skin on our teeth, like literally 5%. He played well and we lose that game 19 times out of 20. So, GG's. I will see you guys next week with our game against the Laughlin Lurantis. Peace out, guys. Thanks for sticking with it. See you later.